So, Mr. Chairman, yes, Chairman Leach.
Thank you. I have a question. I'm going to direct it to you, Commissioner Kraus and David and Elijah, if y'all want to hop in. So I think for me, the question is twofold. Number one is, can we do this as legislators? Can we? And number two, should we? We can. I do believe we can. I think we have a disagreement on that, but I believe firmly that we can. The disagreement is maybe whether we should or not. I agree with Representative No One to vote for the bill because I think we can and we should. If we do this, can a teacher, because Representative Talarico mentioned on a couple of occasions that we're forcing teachers to display this, and actually take issue respectfully with that, Representative Talarico, because we're not forcing teachers to do this. This is, again, they're going to be up in the classrooms. We are not forcing teachers to teach there. But there, can they, Representative Kraus, Commissioner Kraus, can they, if a teacher wanted to post another religious document on the wall, what is the constitutional, what is our response at that point?
Yeah, that would be a case-by-case basis, because again, the constitutional test is now history and tradition. And so if they were to put up a religious text that did not have its basis or grounding in the history and tradition of America, it would be much more subject to constitutional scrutiny and overturning than were it to be something like the Ten Commandments. Even if you looked at the Beatitudes, I know we talked about that last time, Representative Talarico, the last time this was talked about, I think that would probably survive judicial scrutiny more than a lot of other religious texts, but it would not be as sure or certain as the Ten Commandments, just because it's so ubiquitous in America's founding and history. And so depends on what they put up and kind of the circumstances around it. But right now they can put up a cross. Right now they can put up other things, and that can be in the classroom. So again, it all depends on those kind of case-by-case basis.
Okay. David, did you have a response to that?
Oh, that's the can side. On the wood side, it was certainly the belief of previous generations that these were wholesome teachings that helped conduct behavior. And you didn't have to believe in God. As a matter of fact, we have some interesting letters from atheists who quote the Ten Commandments on behavioral basis, whether it be theft. And I think it's interesting that even in these 500 cases that the courts went through, they used both the 8th and the 10th commandment as the basis of their decisions on election fraud and cattle rustling and defamation and white-collar crime and things that we wouldn't think of necessarily. But the court said, no, this is what led to these civil statutes we have. And so the court in those days took things back to that as a basis. And so on the should we, I think that there's a wholesome benefit that can come from it, even from those who don't believe in God or those who have other religious beliefs. These are still behavioral standards. And even if it's say, well, it's not the same God, no, but still being God conscious always affects behavior in a positive manner. And so whether it's Jewish God, Christian God, Hindu God, whatever, that God consciousness tends to have positive effect on behavior. And it's only 2 of the 10 commandments that mention God. The others are behavioral. And as the courts used to say, it's really good standards for behavior toward God and behavior toward man. And they looked at the man side more than the God side. So that's why we find the courts having those 500 decisions on the 10 Commandments. It's almost unprecedented to have something cited that often by the courts as an authoritative source. So it really is part of our legal system here, but I think it's a wholesome thing to display.